Welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Jessa Jeremiah. We have some excellent folks for you today on our show. We're going to check in with some restaurants that you can enjoy without even leaving your seat. But first, we have programming expert right here with us today, right here from the CW, Lisa Christensen, who joins us. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm super excited to talk to you because the fall lineup is a hot topic right now. Looks pretty much all new, so give us the scoop on some of the new shows.
It is. We even revamped during the week. So we have local programming at 6:30 a.m., 8:30 a.m., 9:30 a.m., and then we have Insider and OK TV at 8 and 8:30. So you can get your daily gossip.
Yeah.
You know you love that daily gossip.
Of course.
And then the daytime has been redone with Friends, Office, Rules of Engagement, King and Queen, so you can get your laugh during the day. We all need that. And then we have some more local programming after Raising Hope at 4:30, TMZ at 5. Then we have a How I Met Your Mother block right before Prime at 6 and 6:30, which is also very nice to have. And then even at night, we have Cougar Town at 9 p.m. for a full hour, Hot in Cleveland, and then we have adult cartoons with Family Guy, Cleveland Show, American Dad.
Very good.
Yes.
Cool. So many things to look forward to.
Yes.
What a great new lineup with lots of comedy. Lots of comedy on the schedule, so that's great. And you're hearing about all the networks and new programming coming out, and there's all the rumors and things about what's going to work and what's not going to work. What's new for the CW and what's going to be a hit?
We actually only have 2 new network programs coming out. Actually, next week, on Tuesday at 7 p.m., we have The Flash starting. It's a spinoff of Arrow, which is going into their 3rd season. And then we have Jane the Virgin starting October 13th at 7 p.m. So only 2 new shows, but both are getting great buzz, and both is a must watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've read a lot about both. And I think probably if you had to choose, the biggest excitement and hype is around The Flash. And there's a lot of Facebook hype about this too, because there's kind of a cult comic book following now.
Yes.
So how did the CW come to this realization to do another comic book show?
The Arrow, really. They started out with the Arrow. Like I said, they're going into their 3rd season. So the Arrow over the seasons have been getting a lot of buzz. And they don't make it like the comic books. They change it up a little bit. They, of course, use the characters from there, but they say it's like a guideline. They're going to make it their own. What I also believe is a great reason why they're deciding to do another one is when you watch the shows, it's like a movie, really. The way the stunts are done, the way it's produced, it's like a movie. So you're going to enjoy it. You're going to think you're at the movies for a whole hour.
Absolutely, and I totally agree with you. We talked a little bit about this the other day. She's not kidding. It really is that good that it's like a movie. I got to watch the pilot, and it is outstandingly done. So that's really neat. And Supernatural is really no different, and they're coming up on a big milestone as well. Talk to us about that.
They are. They're going into their 10th season, and the big milestone is 200 episodes. I mean, it's really, you get a lot of shows that can only go for 5 seasons, and then they're done. So 200 episodes is a huge, huge milestone. We're very proud of Supernatural going on to that milestone. And there is a special that's going to be airing about, talking about, the past seasons of Supernatural. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Very neat. And what about the Prime as a whole for the CW? Talk to us about what the lineup sort of looks like.
Oh, the lineup is huge. We have, of course, on Mondays, we have Jane the Virgin and the Originals. So that's, the Originals is, of course, a spinoff of The Vampire Diaries. So we have, another spinoff right there. Tuesdays, we have The Flash, Supernatural. Wednesday, we have Arrow, The 100. Thursday, we have The Vampire Diaries, Reign. Friday, you can get your comedy for relaxing towards the weekend with Who's Line, and then America's Next Top Model, which I think they're in their 20th season as well.
Gosh, yeah. A lot of tenure with these shows.
Yes.
2 great new ones, but then a lot of favorites for folks that if you haven't gotten a chance to see some of these shows, the reason they're still around is because they're just very well done and have a great following.
Yes, and if you ever miss an episode, CW posts it on their website usually the next day. So If you're like, oh, my DVR didn't catch it, you can catch it now. And also remember, the Flash is actually doing an extra 3 minutes on their pilot, which is a series premiere next week. So you might want to adjust your DVR so you make sure you get the whole episode.
Oh, that's a good tip for people, and you got to catch the Flash because
Yes.
it's going to be outstanding. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for the rundown. We look forward to seeing how this all unfolds for us. What a
Yes.
great fall season we look forward to, and thanks for your insight.
You're welcome.
We
Thank you.
appreciate it. Lisa Christensen, Program Manager here at the CW. Now, we have some great restaurants coming up after this. If you want to check out 3 new restaurants without leaving your seat, stay tuned right here on Talk of the Town. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. If you're wondering if there's a real flying hound, we'll find out in just a minute. We've got Tim Thompson who joins us from the Flying Hound Ale House. Welcome, how are you?
Oh, really good, thanks.
Good, very glad to have you. So we're checking out a couple local restaurants today, and we're gonna start with you, and just talk to me a little bit about the Flying Hound Ale House and some of the things you do. I understand you source a lot of your products locally.
That's true. We are focusing on being just a slightly upscale pub, focusing on sourcing as many of our ingredients as possible locally, and then providing a set of menu items that is not something you see anywhere else, with kind of unique twists on classic pub fare.
Awesome. So you work with a lot of local folks and a lot of local vendors. Are there some that you really, enjoy working with and try to maintain that relationship and move forward?
In general, I have great relationships with almost all of my local vendors. There are 2 that I specifically like, even more than the others. One is Kanaki's Old Fashioned Butcher Shop.
Okay.
They deliver all of our proteins fresh daily.
Wow, great.
Which is a very unique scenario, and they're
Yeah.
just great to work with.
Yes.
And my second one are the good folks at Ale Asylum, making just great beer out on the east side.
Yeah, they really do. That's wonderful. Well, good for you. It's nice to have some local folks that you can count on to bring, just great products to your restaurant, fresh daily. I mean, that's a wonderful thing for your meat. And talk to us a little bit about your menu too, if you would, for folks who haven't been out. Do you have a favorite menu item that you recommend?
Oh, I've got a couple of them, but right now the schnitzel sandwich is my very favorite thing. It's a
Okay.
classic German schnitzel on a Clausen's Bakery bun, some Munster cheese, and some homemade onion gravy on there. It's delicious.
Okay, well, I'm officially hungry. Thank you. Yeah, sounds good. And so you've got a lot of local beer, as you kind of mentioned. Talk to us about, do you have like a new release or anything you want to kind of mention?
Yeah, actually, Ale Asylum put out a new release that I really, really like a lot. It is called their Pantheon Imperial Brown Ale, and it is a kind of a classic brown ale, but the hop presence is amped up a lot, a little higher ABV, and just a more complex beer. Really, really enjoy it.
Great, wonderful. So we can check that out over at the Ale House, the Flying Hound Ale House. And then I was just asking you before we started about your location. You're in a very new area as far as some of the development there. What do you like about that area, or why did you choose that?
Fitchburg in general, I think, is a very desirable area. It's obviously growing. All the demographics are right. That specific location, close to just 1 million houses. People generally kind of in maybe their first home, looking at kind of starting a family. It's just an optimal position for us to be in, with great people around, a lot of them, and not necessarily a whole bunch of other restaurants in the area.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said there's a couple of retailers and things there, so they can stop for a nice meal before they shop or do whatever it is that they're doing over there. Very neat spot. So I started by mentioning we'll find out if there's a real flying hound. Is there a real life flying hound?
Yeah, there is. The silhouette that appears in our logo is a silhouette of one of my dogs, as you might imagine. My wife and I have Katie, who is a blackmouth cur mix that we got from the Nashville Humane Society, and she does a lot of that kind of jumping behavior that you see in the logo.
Very good. Well, very cool. And we got just a little bit of time left. I wanted to ask you, if you don't mind, I know you do some cool things for like game days on the weekends. So talk to us a little bit about some of those things.
Well, for starters, we have a bus that goes to every Badger home game, so you can come there, grab a beer, or some food, and then get on the bus, ride right down to the stadium, and then get right back on and come back after the game. So that's one thing that we're focusing on. We have some really awesome specials too. Our chef puts together some sort of tailgate game day feeling specials for both Badger and Packer games, and then we've got some good beer on special as well.
Good. So what a fun way to enjoy the game. And I understand that you open early on some of those days for like breakfast and things.
We do. So a lot of the Badger games are at 11 a.m. So in order to get down there, you pretty much have to be kind of up and moving by 8 or so. So we actually open at 8, and we serve a breakfast on that day.
Cool. So we can come have breakfast, hop on the bus, maybe have a mimosa or something, right?
I would recommend it.
Yeah, and then hop on the bus, you don't have to drive, head to the game, and then we get safely transported back. And you never know, maybe we'll stick around for dinner.
That's the goal.
There you go. Wonderful. Well, anything else you want to share with folks before we go? We're almost out of time, but I want to give you an opportunity just to share anything else that you'd like to share about the Flying Hound.
Really just excited to be in business and excited to be in our location, and want to kind of continue to do as much as we can for the local restaurant supply market, and then take all those ingredients, put them together, and really give something of value to the people that live around the area.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you sharing that, and we'll come check you out maybe on game day. You can check these guys out. Flying Hound Ale House. Go see Tim Thompson.
Not me.
Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it very much. All right, well, we'll check out a couple other local restaurants. You don't have to go anywhere. It's all right here on Talk of the Town, so stick around. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. We get to talk high school football now. We're going to check in with our sports news partner. We have Travis Wilson, who joins us from Wisconsin Sports Network, general manager and football writer. Welcome, Travis.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Love having you. So we're going to talk about some of the big games from last week, but first, I understand there was a record set. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, one of the big-time records, really. Watoma's Nathaniel Logging in a game against Wisconsin Dells that they won 62-7, rushed for 524 yards on 31 carries and six touchdowns as well in the game. Shattered the previous record of 465 yards, which was set back in 2005 by Milwaukee Marshall's Dante Stewart. A huge performance, incredible numbers, 524 yards in a single game. Just amazing.
Wow, very impressive. Very cool. Good stuff. Let's talk about some of the games now. Janesville Craig really surprised some people with a win over Sun Prairie. So tell me a little bit about this. Are they a contender for the Big 8 title, do you think, now?
Well, they started 4-0 against the weaker part of their schedule. Then they lost the previous week to Madison La Follette, and we kind of wondered, maybe they were just a victim of their schedule in the second half. But that win over Sun Prairie is very impressive. You have to look at them as a contender at this point, I think. They have a pretty tough schedule left the rest of the way, including a Week 9 game against Middleton. But they've proven on the field that they're ready to compete with the best in the Big 8.
Very good. Okay. Now let's talk about the Mount Horeb Barneveld. They lost to DeForest last week. So the stage is really set now for this game against Reedsburg coming up this week. What's on the line in that one?
Well, on the line is really control of the Badger North Conference. Reedsburg is the only team that's undefeated in conference play as of right now. If they get a win over Mount Horeb Barneveld, they're almost guaranteed at least a share of the conference title. They would have a game against Wanakee left, and then a game in the last week of the season against Portage, who really has struggled this year. So, but if Mount Horeb Barneveld can get the win on the road at Reedsburg, then it really does put them back into the race, and we would have a pretty exciting last couple of weeks coming down the stretch with Wanakee, Mount Horeb Barneveld, and Reedsburg all right there in it.
Okay, very interesting. Let's talk about Columbus for a second. So they were really doing well in the beginning of the season. And I understand they have now suffered 2 straight losses. So what do you see for them? Are they even in playoff contention at this point?
They are, but they need to get it going. They started the year 4-0, but then they lost their first 2 conference games of the year. They have to win their last 3 games just to get into the playoffs. It's not going to be easy, but they're winnable games for sure. The toughest one is probably going to be, I think it's Week 9 against Lakeside Lutheran. But they've got to get it going and get it going quickly. They've lost to a couple very good teams, but one of those situations where they're in playoff mode already in the last 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll have to check back with you and see how they're doing as the next couple games progress. And I know they're hoping for a few wins. So we did get a chance to catch up with you at the Beltline Bowl last week, which was great. You gave us a wonderful interview. You have a busy Friday night schedule. So talk to us a little bit about what that looks like for you.
Well, every Friday night I pick a game here in the Madison area to go to and get to take that in and get out and see a lot of different teams, which is very cool. As I'm at the game, I'm usually listening to another game on my headphones on a iHeartRadio or TuneIn app, getting text updates from a lot of different people around the state, check Twitter. Just a busy night, but a fun night. Getting out to the games is, kind of the icing on the cake for what I do and really enjoy it. And then after the game, or actually kind of have to leave midway through the game, get back to the studio at Clear Channel. I host a Friday night post-game show on the Big 1070. Do that for an hour and a half, head back home, check out what went on in the state, and update our site and what was going on, and just try to wrap everything up the best I can. So busy night for sure.
Very busy night. Well, we're going to add to the list now, trying to catch us for some interviews during the bowl series whenever we can, because we really enjoyed doing that interview on the sideline there. So talk to us a little bit with the last minute here about playoffs, and give us a rundown for teams kind of in our coverage area here.
Yeah, well, I brought a cheat sheet because there are a few teams that have clinched already. There's 6 teams in our area that have clinched: Cuba City, Darlington, Janesville, Craig, Madison, La Follette, Middleton, and Milton. Those teams are in for sure. There's 18 other teams that are eligible for the playoffs and can clinch with one more victory: Belmont, Bigfoot, Blackhawk, Cambria-Friesland, Deerfield, DeForest, Ithaca, Kickapoo-Lafarge, Markesan, McFarland, Monona Grove, North Crawford, Oregon, Pecatonica, Argyle, Potosi, Reedsburg, Rio, and Williams Bay. And if anybody has any questions on where their favorite team is at, head to wisports.net. We've got a full list there.
Wisports.net. You heard it from Travis right here. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Travis Wilson with Wisconsin Sports Network. All right, well, after the break, if you're someone who is indecisive about what to order on the menu when you go out to eat, you're going to want to check out this restaurant. There's one item on the menu, and they do it great. We'll tell you who after the break right here on Talk of the Town. Hey, welcome back to Talk of the Town. We have 2 very cool guests who are joining us. We have Amy Wettenkamp and Kelly Underwood, who join us from the Froth House. They're inviting you to fall in love with the Froth House, and we'll find out why. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. So there's a lot going on that I want to talk to you about, but I know that music and art is really a big part of the culture over there. So just give me, elaborate on this a little bit and tell us why.
Sure. One of the really cool things that we do is we feature a different artist every month, and so we'll feature their artwork on the wall, and it's available for purchase. And one of our employees, Aaron David, is an art student at UW, and he coordinates all of that. So it's one of the really cool things we do with art. If you want to talk about the music.
A lot of the staff that we have are musicians. Amy and I are both musicians. And so I really feel that music is an important way that we can connect with each other, just as humans. And so the Froth House has great food, great coffee, and great music, and that's just one of the very basic human ways that we connect with each other.
Very good. So you have sort of all these elements that come together and just make it a really fun space for people to be a part of and come eat and all that stuff. So what about events? You've got this great space and some other things going on. Do you actually rent it out for events?
Sure, we do, and there's not really rental charge. It's more so just people can purchase the food and the drink, and we can do it after hours. They can contact me directly. My information's on our website, and I'll just work with you, figure out how many people you want, if you have any special requests for food. We do sell beer and wine as well, which is one of the nice things for events. And we do have a show coming up in November called The Last 5 Years. It's a 2-person musical. I'll be doing it, as well as Brian. He's a grad student at UW. He'll be singing the male parts, 2-person show. So just some of the things that we have coming up.
Brian's one of our staff members
yes,
as well. So.
And he is amazing. Yes.
Very fun. Okay, well that sounds cool. Do you have any other events that are coming up that you guys want to talk about?
Well, yeah, it's more so private events. Like we have a book party release coming up, and we do birthday parties. I just had my daughter's birthday party there. So we can do stuff for kids, adults. If people want to have show there, artwork there, we can just work with you, whatever you want.
Awesome.
And we have children's music every Saturday morning.
Do
and
you?
That has been a very good community event for us. So people
Yeah.
come and get breakfast with their kids, and we have music.
And Casey Day does the music, and he's a teacher at the Learning Gardens as well as the Preschool of the Arts. So he does a great job.
Very neat. So how do you balance all this? I mean, being a mom and being a student, talk to me about the balance and how you kind of work in all this involvement at the Froth House.
So I'm a UW student and a mother of 2 daughters. And this spring, I needed a new manager, and Amy and I have been best friends since birth. Our mothers were best friends.
Pregnant together with us, born
Yes.
a month apart.
So we've known each other since we were just little bits of DNA. And so the stars aligned, and Amy was able to move her family down here. I moved to Madison in 2010. And so the only way that we can make this happen is through a community. So I have Amy, she's a fantastic worker. Nobody steal her, she's mine.
I'm not going anywhere.
And then we have a fantastic staff
Yes.
that without them, I would be completely lost. Thank you to my staff.
We love you
who's
guys. They're so
amazing.
loyal and hardworking.
Yes.
We're really, really lucky to have them.
That's so important when you're running a business to have
People you trust.
Yes, absolutely. A group of people that are willing to be on board with you and treat your customers how you would treat them
Yes.
and all of that good stuff. You know, obviously the maybe obvious question comes to mind is there's Starbucks popping up on every single corner in America and elsewhere. What if there was a Starbucks to open up right next to you? What do you think that would do to your business? Anything?
Well, I think that we both have high quality coffee products. I mean, we have locally roasted coffee at our shop, but we have very healthy, good food options, and then the atmosphere is what people come for. We come to connect with each other, and the place is cozy, and
There's candles lit. You just get this homey atmosphere that you
homey.
wouldn't find at a corporate coffee shop.
Absolutely. So some great food, a great way to enjoy some events if you want to come, you know, and have that space for your events. You even do kids music on the weekends.
Yes.
That's awesome that you do that. Lots of cool reasons to check out the Froth House. Now, I understand also when you talked a little bit about the music as being a part of your culture, but your whole staff really has a music background. So tell me about that.
It's just a coincidence. It's like they're drawn to us. The universe has put us together, but everybody that we hire in one way, shape, or form ends up being an artist or a musician.
Very
And
cool.
we all just vibe really well together.
I love it.
Yeah.
Now, Kelly, you're going to play something for us. Give us just a little example of what you can do and what we can find at the Froth House.
sure. Well, this is a song that I wrote, and it's called Taste of You.
Awesome.
I would drive all night just to see your face. I would offer my flesh to end this chase. I would sacrifice it all to take her place.
So cool. I'm going to let her keep going, but make sure you check these guys out at the Froth House because great music. What a great place to stop in and have a bite to eat. And thank you, ladies, so much for joining us. Thanks to our guests and thanks for watching Talk of the Town. That's it for us. Please join us next time.